Welcome to the 6th week of the Quiet Man series. This is episode 36. I left a bit of a loose end in episode 35 with asking you to hold the images of these rutting stags in Richmond Park. Well, in this episode, it's about stags, it's about mooses, and it's about elephants. Now, what on earth would tie all those together? If you remember, Nick and I had joined this organisation that had come over from Australia. And up until this point in time, all the training had been done by the Australians. Until one conference, one very memorable conference in Cambridge. And the Australians took a back seat. They essentially didn't turn up for the first day and a half, which meant it was down to the Brits to run it themselves. Now talk about rutting stags. The metaphor for rutting stags really is about ego. It's about power. It's about control. Well, my father would say it was a bugger's muddle. It was a complete and utter mess. We had these Brits at the front of the room trying to do what the Australians were doing, trying to get us motivated and fired up to take this business forward, and it was just falling completely flat. A colleague of mine, somebody that I'd recruited into the business, turned round and just stood up and said, "Look, there's a moose in the room here." Mark had worked for this Canadian company. In Britain, we would say there was an elephant in the room. He said there was a moose in the room. And what the moose was their inability to hold the audience's attention and to move the whole thing along. It was a complete and utter debacle. That night we were all going to do a group thing, 10-pin bowling. There's a very nice bowling alley in Cambridge called 10-pin. We're trooping out to the transport. And my mate Steve turns around and said, "God blimey, you wait all day for a decent coach and one turns up in the evening." And the chap they've been trying to hold the whole thing together, the rutting stag at the front of the room, was right behind us. Talk about thunderous looks and scowls. You wait all day for a decent coach and one turns up in the evening. One of the immortal lines from the Cambridge conference. Thank you for that, Steve. That summer, I decided to treat myself. I took myself off to California. I went back to see my old friend Charlie, the chap that helped bail me out when I'd gone belly up in Long Beach all those years ago. He was now living in Nevada City in Northern California. I flew into San Francisco and then I took a train out and he met me. And I just had this wonderful time helping him clear some land. And then we took a road trip down to Yosemite. Now, if you've never been to Yosemite, put it on your bucket list right now. It is absolutely magnificent. You've got El Capitan, the sheer 3,000 granite cliff, which is an absolute climber's paradise. And there's Half Dome, which is like where the glacier came through the valley and it just cut this spherical mountain in half. And we took a hike up there, 19 miles from the valley floor to the top and back. And do you know what? There is actually a stairway to heaven, because you get to the top and there's the last part of the curve up the dome. There's actually a stairway to help you up there. Absolutely wonderful time. Also got to visit San Francisco, wonderful city. And the thing I liked about San Francisco, I'll never forget it, is everybody walks in San Francisco, unlike a lot of other American cities. So therefore the population of San Francisco is slightly different from what we know as the American norm. Back from California, back into work, and work's going well. I'm picking up clients, I've got a good book of clients, I'm feeling engaged, I'm feeling motivated. At Christmas, I get invited to a Christmas party by a friend of mine called Dan Bowyer. He's now a very successful venture capitalist. And it's this little bar up on Poland Street in Soho, just before Christmas, absolutely heaving. Now, I'm not a big one for parties. Part of this, as you will recall, is I'm the quiet man. I'm much more of an introverted sort of character. So therefore, big parties, I tend to retreat to the back and kind of watch. And towards the back of this party, the chap called Roman, and we got into a conversation. He turned round to me, as you always do at a party or any meeting. Question comes out, what do you do? And I said, well, Roman, the best way to explain that is to take these 3 forks. And I'm going to leave it there because that really is the story for episode 37. Just remember that, 3 forks. So this episode was about rutting stags. It was about the moose. But the real moral of the story is you can wait all day for a coach and one turns up in the evening. If you've liked this, give it the thumbs up, share it with your friends, make comments please, and thank you very much.